Hello and welcome, my beautiful soul. If you are hearing this right now, it is because heaven just activated your divine assignment. You have been carrying words that feel too big for your chest, haven't you? Maybe you have sat in rooms where your wisdom went unnoticed, watching others claim credit for insights that first sparked in your spirit. Maybe you have felt the weight of a message burning inside you while the world seemed deaf to your frequency. But today, I need you to understand something profound about why you have felt silenced for so long. What has been happening to you isn't rejection. It is divine preservation. Right now, as these words reach your spirit, God Himself is removing the muzzle He placed over your mouth for protection. You see, your voice wasn't hidden because it was weak. It was shielded because it carries the exact frequency needed to shatter systems, heal generations, and awaken souls at this precise moment in history. The silence you have endured wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Your waiting wasn't wasted time. It was sacred incubation. By the end of this message, you will know exactly why your voice was preserved until now. You will recognize the unmistakable signs that your muting season is over, and you will step into the supernatural authority that has been building inside you through every moment of silence. You will never question your timing again, because you will finally see the masterpiece God has been orchestrating through your apparent delay. There is something happening in the spiritual realm that most people cannot see, but you have been feeling it, haven't you? That restlessness in your spirit, that sense that something massive is shifting, that knowing that your season of hiding is coming to an end. Let me paint you a picture that will change everything you thought you knew about divine timing. Imagine heaven as a cosmic orchestra and God as the conductor. Every soul has an instrument, a unique sound, a distinct voice, a specific note to play in the grand symphony of existence. But here is what most people don't understand. Not every instrument plays from the very first measure. You see, in the most beautiful symphonies, there are instruments that remain silent through entire movements. The timpani doesn't thunder from the opening note. The violin doesn't sing during every passage. No, they wait. They sit in perfect stillness while other sounds fill the air. And if you were to look at them during those silent moments, you might think they are not important. You might wonder why they are even there. But the conductor knows better. He knows that when that precise moment comes, when the symphony needs depth, power, transformation, that specific instrument will create the sound that changes everything. That instrument is you. Your voice wasn't silenced because it was unwanted. It was preserved because it was precious. God didn't mute you because you were inadequate. He shielded your sound because the world wasn't ready for its impact. I know what you have been through. I know about the meetings where your ideas were dismissed, only to be celebrated when someone else presented them. I know about the applications that went nowhere, the opportunities that seemed meant for you but went to others, the platforms you watched being given to voices that felt less authentic than yours. And in those moments, the enemy whispered lies. Maybe you misheard God. Maybe you are not called. Maybe you should just stay quiet and let others lead. But those whispers were deception designed to make you abandon your post before your entrance cue. Because what was really happening during your silence was sacred. God was allowing you to see behind the curtain. He was showing you the motives, the politics, the shallow performances that masquerade as authority. He was teaching you to distinguish between noise and impact, between volume and weight. Your silence was a classroom, and every disappointment was curriculum designed to forge something unbreakable in your spirit. Here is what makes your voice different from those who rush to platforms too early. Your words carry weight because they have been tested in fire. When someone who has never struggled tells you to have faith, it sounds hollow. But when you speak those same words, after nights of wondering if faith was enough, after seasons where hope was your only companion, After wrestling with God in the darkness, they land differently. People don't just hear your words. They feel your substance. They recognize the authentic ring of truth that can only come from someone who has lived what they are speaking. That is why God protected your voice during the formation years. He knew that premature exposure would have robbed you of the depth you would need for this moment. Something supernatural is happening right now as you hear this. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest, that sense of finally someone understands, that is not just emotional resonance. That is spiritual activation. God is tuning your frequency to match heaven's current broadcast. The same voice that spoke worlds into existence is calibrating your vocal cords to carry his sound. The authority you have always sensed but couldn't access is being unlocked. And here is the most beautiful part. The people who need to hear your voice are already being prepared to receive it. Their hearts are being softened to your frequency even as we speak. You are going to notice changes. Small at first, then undeniable. Conversations will shift when you enter the room, even before you speak. People will begin seeking your counsel on matters you never advertised expertise in. Opportunities will present themselves without you having to chase them. Your casual comments will carry disproportionate impact. The same people who once overlooked you will suddenly tune into your voice. These aren't coincidences. They are confirmations that heaven has lifted the veil of protection and released you into your sound season. But here is what you must understand. Your voice isn't just about you. It is about what God wants to release through you. There are people in rooms right now, suffocating under the weight of silence, waiting for someone to speak the words that will give them permission to breathe. There are souls trapped in cycles of doubt, needing to hear your testimony to break free. There are destinies on hold, waiting for your voice to call them into their purpose. Your preserved words aren't just for your vindication, they are for their liberation. Every time you were silenced, someone else's breakthrough was being delayed. Every time you held back, another soul remained trapped. But now that your muting season is over, your release becomes their freedom. The silence you endured wasn't empty. It was building authority in you. Not the borrowed authority of position or title, but the unshakable authority that comes from having survived what tried to destroy you. When you speak now, you are not reciting theories. You are declaring realities you have walked through. When you offer hope, it is not optimism. It is evidence from someone who has seen God's faithfulness in the darkest places. That is why your voice cannot be silenced now. It carries too much proof, too much power, too much divine backing. I know it feels overwhelming. After years of being overlooked, the idea of being heard can feel foreign, even frightening. You might wonder if you are really ready, if you have the right words, if you will know what to say, but preparation isn't about perfection. It is about positioning. And you have been positioned through every season of silence, every moment of waiting, every test of faith. The words you need are already in you. They have been forming in the furnace of your experiences, refined by your struggles, validated by your victories. When you open your mouth now, you are not performing, you are releasing. You are not trying to impress, you are choosing to impact. You are not speaking from theory, you are echoing from testimony. Don't be surprised if opposition increases as your voice emerges. The same systems that benefited from your silence will resist your sound. The same people who were comfortable with your compliance will be threatened by your courage. But let resistance be your confirmation, not your discouragement. If your voice wasn't powerful, there would be no battle to suppress it. If your message wasn't dangerous to darkness, the enemy wouldn't work so hard to silence it. Use the opposition as fuel. Every time someone tries to diminish your voice, let it remind you why God preserved it. Every time fear whispers that you should stay quiet, Let it confirm that your sound is needed now more than ever. The conductor's hand is raised. Your entrance cue has come. The symphony of your life has reached the movement where your voice is not just welcomed. It is essential. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not optional. You are right on time, positioned precisely where heaven needs you, carrying exactly what this moment requires. The world has been waiting for your sound, even when it didn't know it. The people who need your voice have been prepared to receive it, even in their unconscious state. The breakthrough that has been delayed is tied to your release. So step forward with confidence. Speak with the authority you have earned. Trust the words that have been forming in your spirit. Your voice was preserved for this exact moment, and the moment has arrived. The silence is over. Your sound season has begun. And nothing, not fear, not doubt, not opposition, can mute what heaven has chosen to amplify. The stage is yours. Chosen one. The world is waiting for your sound. Your journey into divine sound begins now. Trust what you carry. Trust your timing. Trust your voice. And remember, every time you speak, someone else finds their breath. If this message stirred something in your spirit, I want to invite you to experience more of heaven's frequency. I have created a sacred space called Simplified Serenity, instrumental worship designed for prayer, healing, and deep communion with God. Just tap or click the playlist on your screen, and let's continue this journey together in the presence of the Most High.